Why do we speak Spanish? As you can see, I am Hispanic. My entire family is Hispanic, and I wanted to know the origin of this Spanish language. How many people speak Spanish? How many countries speak Spanish? The influence of other languages. I heard about Arabic, Quechua. I've been 1 week investigating about this, and this is what I found. Before answering these questions, we need to know that Spanish or Castilian is the most spoken language in the world, both because of the large number of people who have it as their mother tongue and because of the large number of countries in which it's present. What's the origin of Spanish language? Like other Romance languages, Spanish has its roots in Latin. About 70% of the Spanish language comes from Latin. The Iberian Peninsula, called Hispania, was Roman for 7 centuries. Yeah, it was Roman for 7 centuries, from the end of the 2nd century, year 218 before Christ, until 5th century, year 476 BC, or Anno Domini. From Latin to Castilian. So what happened when the Roman Empire fell? After the fall of the Roman Empire, the cultural Latin decreased and transformed into Vulgar Latin, emerging versions such as Castilian Romance. Castilian Romance? Yes, this Castilian Romance began to be spoken in the region that gave rise to the Kingdom of Castile and expanded throughout the rest of the peninsula during the Middle Ages. How many people speak Spanish? Spanish is known for its wide geographical distribution and millions of speakers around the world. Spanish has established itself as one of the most important languages. The number of Spanish speakers is around 496 million people. According to the Cervantes Institute, Spanish is still growing and is the second most spoken native language after Mandarin Chinese. Do you know how many words does the Spanish have? Spanish has more than 93,000 words registered in the dictionary. 93,000. What are the other languages that influence Spanish? This Castilian Romance began to develop as a modified version of Latin, also influenced by other languages like Greek, Celtic, Germanic, and later Arabic due to the Muslim invasion that was present for 8 centuries until 1492. Andalusia was the most influenced by the Arabic language because this was the peninsular territory dominated by the Muslims. From Arabic, we inherited many words such as almohada, azúcar, aceituna, aceite, acelga, alacrán, algodón, alcohol. This is important. Guitarra. Guitarra is Arabic. And ojalá. And so many more. In America, in the Viceroyalty of Peru, which included almost all South American countries during the Spanish Empire, one of the most significant contributions was made by Father Diego González. He was the author of the general vocabulary of all Peru of the Quechua language, or the language of Incas. His work was much more than a dictionary. The 1,015 pages were dedicated to study the Quechua language, but also the Inca culture. And yes, we inherited some Quechua words like carpa, cancha, guagua, callampa, charco, choclo, zapallo, cochayuyo, and a beautiful name, Amaro. Who promoted the first production works in Spanish, the first books in Spanish? Who was that? This Castilian dialect gave way to the creation of the Spanish language, in the year 1200 with the King Alfonso X, known as Alfonso the Wise, who made the Toledo city the center or the base of his activities. It was in that place when the first original works in Spanish appeared. Alfonso the Wise was who promoted the first scientific production in Spanish. One of his contributions to science was the Alphonsine Tables, a record of astronomical data collected by the observations of the skies of Toledo. For centuries, this became the most used instrument to calculate the planetary position of the stars, and thanks to this, the calculation of the time. Alfonso X also promoted with his team the advanced legal code known as the Siete Partidas, founded on Roman law. And he was the author of many other productions like Los Libros del Saber, General Historia, that was the first cultural, social, political history world book in the Castilian language. When was the consolidation of Spanish as an official language? In the 15th century, the Catholic monarchs consolidated Spanish as the official language during the reconquest of Spain in 1492 and his expansion into America. How many countries speak the Spanish language? Well, all the countries that were part of the Spanish Empire. Once America was conquered, and for 300 years, we were one nation. One. So yeah, there are currently 21 countries that have Spanish as their official language. Yes, 21 countries, and they are Mexico, Colombia, Peru, Bolivia, Chile, Argentina, Paraguay, Uruguay, Venezuela, Puerto Rico, República Dominicana, Cuba, Guinea Ecuatorial, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panamá, Ecuador y España. And what country has the largest number of native Spanish speakers but is not an Hispanic country? The Spanish language is also spoken in many other places in the world. The United States is the non-Hispanic country with the largest number of native Spanish speakers in the world, with around 41.76 million people. Now you let me know, do you speak Spanish? Are you learning Spanish? Where are you from? Did you find this information interesting? Give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends and subscribe to my channel, Te dejo invitado a mi canal de español, por si quieres aprender más español. Se llama Educadora Hispanista y voy a dejar el link en este video en la descripción. Muchas gracias y adiós.